Okay, this is day 84. Where's Eric Braverman? Still no Braverman. I keep thinking he's going to see one of these and he's going to call me and say, you know what, I'm ready to do the press conference. But until then, I'll just keep doing updates. Okay, the big story obviously is the True Pundit story today about the money laundering. Just to let everybody know that we're on the right trail. And I'm sorry, I wish this story could go quicker, but we can only report on it as it goes. But in the last video, if you want to watch number 2, you'll see how Lionsgate is a funnel for the drug money coming from El Chapo through Slim and Justra. And then you'll see all these suspicious activity reports going into the Clinton Foundation. You'll see how Lionsgate is just a replacement of Mark Rich's 20th Century Fox with Rupert Murdoch. So it's just new actors. I'm not sure I don't know. I guess the actors are better or whatever. But anyway, so a lot of people have mentioned, they're shutting down the Clinton Global Initiative. The Clinton Global Initiative was the dirty side of the Clinton Foundation. Not the dirty side, but it was this part that could never be publicized. It was those 1,100 hidden donors. It was the generals. It was the politicians. It's going to be the Lindsey Graham and the, McCain and Rubio and Biden is going to be a big player. So it's going to be all the politicians in the EU. It's going to be like Rasmussen from the NATO Secretary General, et cetera, Bouchard from the NATO generals, so forth. So that's the money funnel, and the CGI. What they're shutting down is that part of the Clinton Foundation. The reason is destroy the evidence. This is Filegate, Travelgate all over again. They're shutting it down. So here's the article came out. There's I think 24 people are going to be laid off or something like that. This means that this article wouldn't have come out if they hadn't already destroyed all the evidence already, because they'd never want to risk the New York Police Department going in there with a search warrant and then grabbing the evidence. So that means all the evidence is gone. So the only thing left is getting the people out of the country and the ones that are involved in it. And you're going to find this is kind of like the Playboy Club. These are going to be the high flyers that had diplomatic passports, be able to come in and out of the country without being questioned by police in order to do these kind of deals. You're going to see that you need in any kind of trafficking, drug trafficking or gun trafficking, arms trafficking, oil trafficking, child trafficking, you need a passport issuing authority. So you need to kind of take over some government or bribe some official within this loop here to issue passports. And you always have risk of being found out that you're issuing passports, diplomatic passports especially, by that country's police force or the federal investigators or the Interpol investigators. So a lot of signs point to Malta being the area for, this is the Maltese flag here, the area for the place where they issue these kind of diplomatic passports right here. It's a small country. You can control it easily, buy off the politicians, do a little song and dance, a little ceremony every once in a while about the Knights of Malta, and then everybody, looks over there because they're looking at all the pomp and circumstance, and over here you're issuing the passports to the 25 or so people. So I think this is going to be Doug banned. It's going to be because they're going to have to leave the country. These guys are going to have to leave the country if this investigation keeps going, and they're going to need to be able to get to wherever, Casablanca or wherever they're going. So I think it's going to be Doug Band, Justin Cooper, Philippe Reines, Huma, et cetera, those kind of folks, and then people we don't know that are on this list, State Department people that we don't know. So anyway, this is a question for people to do some more research on Justra and the political structure of Malta, the passport issuing ability of Malta, and for diplomatic passports, and see if we can't find out who those people are, these 24. I think there's 24 that are going to be listed. The 24 were never even ever at the Clinton Foundation, by the way, in New York. That's what I wanted to make clear. There are 24 guys all around the world. But they'd come into New York and they needed to come in on the diplomatic passport and leave. Your bags aren't checked if you're a diplomatic passport. You can carry a diplomatic pouch, which means you can put drugs in the pouch. You can put, lots of stuff. So you're going to find a lot of, just international criminals in general, use diplomatic passports quite a bit. They even made a movie about this. If you watch, I'll even put the trailer in there. It's called Hostel 2, where they send, when they do get a victim, a sexual traffic victim that's kind of model beautiful, what they'll do is they have an auction, and you'll see in the trailer they actually do that in the movie, in the Lionsgate movie, in the Frank Giustra Lionsgate movie. So it's one of those hidden in plain sight things. If you come out with a Hollywood movie, then it couldn't be true, right? So it's another one of those Hunger Games things. It's a hidden in plain sight. So, and again, where have we seen this movie before? There's just this running, repeat and rinse and repeat cycle here, with, again, the FBI did not come out with any emails. They should have come out at least with metadata for, this is the litmus test. If law enforcement's really doing their job, Comey came out with a finally, when a FBI agent in the field forced him to, he came out with metadata on the July 5th announcement for Hillary. Otherwise, he was going to get burned. This is another one of those. They're saying, oh, we're looking into money laundering. They haven't made any conclusions yet. We're just looking into it. It makes it look like they're doing something. If they really had any then they're going to realize they're going to get burned on the emails as well. Come out at least with a metadata and say to, from, who, and date, what the subject line was for the emails. Otherwise, they're coming out. And you're going to look bad. So I probably won't do much more than that, other than to say these cell phones, these Dennis O'Brien cell phones from Digicel, you need, for citizen investigators, see if you can buy one of those cell phones off of one of these ladies. Buy 2 or 3, and then go onto the micro loan sharking application, and then look at the interest rates they're being charged. And there's 1,000 workers here, so somebody probably will be willing to sell you a cell phone. So that's a big set of evidence right there, and a lot of the modus operandi will be unrolled there. The other thing you can do is, if you're a sex trafficking investigator anywhere in South America or anywhere in Central America or the Caribbean, you could do the same thing with a Carlos Slim phone. You just have to figure out a Telmex phone. It has to be Telcel. It has to be Telcel. And look to see if it has the microfinancing application on it, micro loan sharking application, and then see if they'll let you see their phone. Take some screenshots from the phone, and then especially around payments, and look at their activity around payments. Okay, so if women come into the shelter, they look beaten, and so forth, where their enforcers have beaten them, that's when they're most likely to give you the phone, and then you can copy the contents of the phone. Okay. Like I said, his phone, I'm not on the hook for the Espionage Act if I release these 650,000, or if I have knowledge of who releases these 650,000 emails. He's the one who set up these parties at Los Angeles, Florida, New York, European capitals, Turkey, Brussels, all over. The CENTCOM meetings. I'm not the one. He's the one who violated all of these guys violated the Federal Records Act. Okay, so if I was investigating this case, I would pull I'd pull all these cell phones right now, and then look for their history, when they bought cell phones and when they didn't, because that's going to be a profusion of evidence with the cell phones. Again, these two, pull their cell phones. That'll show you their location minute to minute, and we can then do the correlation to the parties, where they went to after the parties, the time where they were at 4 a.m. near the Feinberg mansion. And this is standard law enforcement. Grab the cell phone records. So this is kind of coming to a head. A lot of people have put Claude Destre's Facebook up, and they're going to ask him, what about Monica Peterson's master's thesis, because Monica Peterson, wrote a, I won't go back. Monica Peterson wrote a master's thesis on this human trafficking situation in Haiti about Carl Slim, okay? And that's going to expose Pug Winokur's methodology here of taking over countries, basically. And micro loan sharking is going to be the gateway crime into getting all these women, into identifying all these women. And then there's just plain old abductions. So the other places to look for investigators helping out is contact Conchita Sarnoff and see if she has a timeline. I think she has a timeline for Epstein and his movements. And then again, the cell phone records can be correlated around him. He's going to be like the funnel point for all the cell phone records. So when we find the 24 Knights of Malta, or whatever they call themselves, that are bidding on these girls, we'll be able to correlate when he got the picture of the girl, when the picture of the girl was sent out to the Knights of the Malta, or whatever they call themselves, and then what they bid and what time they bid, all that'll unwind, okay? And watch the Hostel 2 trailer to see how the bidding thing works from the movie. So again, this is the litmus test. You've got to come out at least with the metadata for the to, from, who, and dates. Then from those dates on those emails, then we'll correlate against the cell phone records to bust up the Haiti ring. Okay? All right, that's it. Thanks.